This video is sponsored by Create Room. This is my current craft room situation. Boxes, boxes, and even more boxes all over the place. But where is it going to go if I don't have an actual office or a craft room? Enter Dreambox. You are watching DIY by Niky Foster. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I'm making over my craft room. To be honest, I don't have an official craft room, but I have been using the back corner of my dining room for my craft space and basically to house all of my craft supplies. I haven't really announced this, but I'm a monthly partner with Cricut, and with that comes all of its perks, which include a lot of materials that they mail me, sponsor products. So I have pretty much every machine, tons of vinyl, and a lot of other supplies. So here are a few of the before images of my makeshift craft room, and stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be showing you step by step how I plan to organize and transform this space. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to move all these boxes out the way. I can't wait to sort these into like its nice cubbies and their official homes that they'll be in. So for now, since I have to paint the walls and everything, I'm just going to move everything out of the dining room. It just makes everything way easier. And then I also don't have to worry about me getting paint on my supplies because that would suck. All right, let's get to it. I'll move that one, that plate. We moved the dining room table to the other side of the kitchen, and all of the boxes and supplies are being stored on it until they're ready to be put away. So I know I mentioned that I'm going to be painting the space, but if you are interested in the full dining room makeover and you want to see the whole transformation, make sure you're subscribed to my channel with the notifications turned on. I didn't actually know where to put these, so I like tucked them away in here. So now I'm going to move these out the way. To begin this craft room transformation, I wanted the space to be white to kind of sort of match the Dreambox. The greenish bluish color that I had on the walls no longer worked for me, and because I had lived with the beige in the middle and then the two greenish bluish colors on the sides for so long, I was like over it, and I just kind of wanted a nice crisp look. But another major factor was that I didn't have a high enough ladder for the high ceiling, so I couldn't paint the room all one color. And then the final thing that helped me make my decisions was when I was on Afternoon Live, seeing the background with the two colors annoyed me so much. So I started looking at other craft rooms for inspiration and ways to update my space. And I basically love the way the white backgrounds look the best, and so I went with that. And I do want to point out that this paint color has just a tiny hint of warmth to it. It's called Polar Bear, and I'll drop the link to it in the description box below. And I was able to borrow a ladder. So here it is, the Create Room box. It is on a pallet. As you can see, it comes with lots of different labels on it so that whoever is delivering it knows that it is fragile and they should handle it with care. So inside the box, let me just open this up. So inside the box, you can see everything is padded well so that nothing comes broken. But this is what you can expect when you get one that is the DIY assembly versus the pre-built assembly. Since we received the DIY version, we were able to bring up the items and set them into the dining room one by one. If we'd received the pre-built Dreambox, it would have taken less time, but it takes about 1 to 3 hours to put the pre-built version together. And it takes about 4 to 10 hours to put the DIY version together. For us, we broke it up into 2 days, doing a couple hours the first day, maybe around 4 hours the first day, which included kind of going over the instructions and just like making sure I had everything. And then the next day, it only took about maybe 3 hours. Okay, so here is the hardware and instructions. I am just going to open this up and see what I need to do. Look how nice everything is labeled. Everything is labeled to a T. I love this. It makes it extremely easy to put things together. So let's just see. Okay. So box 1 and 2. Okay, so it does break it down by box. So all the boxes are labeled. So it says that box 1 and 2. So I would need box 1 and 2 to get started. This is actually really cool that it's broken down like this, because I thought I would need to bring all the boxes in at once, and I don't. I could just bring box 1 and 2 in and get started. So as you can see, each box is labeled. So box 6, box 7, and it's like that for all of the boxes, which makes it really easy to put everything together. So while I time-lapsed this assembly, I wanted to share with you some background on the Dreambox. So originally, I did have another idea for this space because I knew that I wanted to keep my craft area tucked away in this back corner of my dining room. I did plan on getting like a large armoire or almost like a china cabinet and painting it and then housing all of my supplies in it. But because I have so many Cricut machines and all of that vinyl and all of my craft supplies, it just wouldn't have fit. So it wouldn't have made sense to just go through the trouble of getting something like that. So I basically started hunting for some sort of organization ideas because the cardboard boxes that I was using as storage in my dining room, just literally, it had to go. It just was becoming a nightmare, an eyesore, of course. And then I stumbled upon the Dreambox. And I didn't even know what the Dreambox was a few years ago, but I really just found out about it. And when I saw it, I'm telling you, it was like the perfect solution for my space. And I could not stop thinking about it. Okay, this is how it's looking so far. I was able to assemble the one side and the inside of the shelves. And then the door, I'm just going to have to wait for some help to keep going, because the cabinet is really heavy and it does require 2 people to truly build this the correct way. I just wanted to comment on the back panels. These are like so thick. These are like legit back panels, not like the IKEA ones I'm used to working with. I was like really surprised at the quality of it, to be honest. So the main reason why I find the Dreambox perfect is because of the variation of sizes. So obviously when it's closed, it's going to be a little bit smaller and it's going to measure 3 feet wide, 1 inch. And when it's fully open, it measures 9 feet wide, which is like crazy. But I also love that it's on wheels. So if I wanted to move it from one place to another, I could. So the Create Room Dreambox is assembled and made in the US. So the product materials are really high quality, down to the screws and the nuts and the bolts and even the wheels. And all those materials that they are using are very premium and very high quality. Even the instructions are well written in a step-by-step format. I mean, this was like one of the best type of things I put together, how well written it is, and even how they separated each piece so that everything's labeled and it's just easy to find everything. I really appreciate that. You could just tell it's like so well thought out, and that someone who was like a DIYer or someone who wanted it to be easy for anyone to put together, like thought of this. Also with the backing, I had mentioned it before, the backing is extremely thick. I mean, this was like one of the first times I've seen something like this, even compared to other stores I've purchased stuff from. Even the screws are really thick. It's like 28 millimeters or something like that. So you know it's like not flimsy and it's not going to fall apart on you. I think that's like pretty huge because this unit is so large and you want to make sure that the quality stays over time. You know, that's like one of the things that I think about, you know, when buying a piece of furniture or anything. And another thing I wanted to point out is that they do include a little touch-up kit of paint. So if you do end up scratching it or anything like that, there's like a little touch-up kit that you can use to hide any of the blemishes or anything. So one thing to note is that when I was building this, and I think it was user error, I kind of messed something up, but I was able to reach out to the customer service team and they immediately shipped me a replacement part right away. That's why you see that the table was installed last. And obviously when you're reading the instructions, you'll see that those are one of the first steps to do. But because I had the one issue, I was kind of able to keep going and I didn't have to stop building the rest of the unit in order to do this. One thing that was very interesting to me was how some of the shelves slid onto the tracks. It was the first time I'd seen something like that, and I thought it was pretty cool. The totes is where all the magic happens. I got the 80 count tote set. I wanted to make sure I had more than enough for all of my supplies. And my logic was I'd rather have more than not enough because I basically wanted to be able to put everything away in separate spaces and then also label them so I'm not hunting for things and going crazy like I was before. I mean, I was hunting for simple things like glue and tape and scissors, and I could never find it because it was at the bottomless sea of supplies. And I also got the 3 drawers with my Dreambox as well. I feel like it was a must for me because I wanted my essentials to be in reach pretty quickly. I also have small kids, so I didn't want any sharp tools to be out if they're around. And then also one final thing, I do think they add a finished touch to the Dreambox, and it helps it feel more like a crafting desk with that extra storage that you really can't go wrong with. Okay, so I'm so excited. I finally got this put together. So the first thing I want to do is put all of my machines away because I want to make sure those are nice and organized in this bottom area here. I put my Cricut machines away first. All the boxes for the machines were taking up a ton of space in my dining room. This was one of the main reasons why why I needed the Dreambox, so it could fit larger items, especially since I don't have an office space. Also, I had a laminator that I was able to sit on top of the desk. I did end up switching a few of these things around at the end. Putting away the craft supplies is the fun part, but it also takes the longest. I actually spent a few days switching stuff around, trying to make it all perfect, and of course make it make sense. So for the items I would use all the time, like smart iron and transfer tape, I wanted it to be easily accessible. Also, the smart vinyl doesn't fit into the drawers, but it does fit perfectly onto the doors of the Dreambox. For the tools, I ended up playing around with this part quite a bit because I wasn't sure if I wanted it on the door or more hidden. So, as you can see, the options are totally endless. Like I mentioned before, I'm a monthly partner for Cricut and I make creative DIYs for them. So I have tons of customizable blanks like mugs, t-shirts, cosmetic bags, and things like that. Those definitely needed homes because they were spilling out of the boxes. I decided that all those things should be close to each other because it just made the most sense. The narrow, small Inview Totes were perfect for pencils and color pencils and, in general, just the writing utensils. I was wondering if the Dreambox could fit all of my stuff. I have items kind of all over my house in random spots, so I was able to gather them from all the locations and then just put them into this one space. I have a few different craft interests, like I mentioned before in a couple other videos, like bullet journaling. I did a sneaker painting video, Cricut, of course, and even items for kid projects. And it pretty much fit all of my random crafting stuff. And this is a quick reminder of what my makeshift craft room looked like before. There were boxes all over the back of the dining room and it was just not organized at all. And this is how everything looked spread out on my dining room table before I was able to put everything away. It was just so much stuff. I had lots of customizable blanks, mugs, and machines that I mentioned before. Are you guys ready for the reveal? Let's go! It's so cool. So since you guys are here, let me show you around. So the Dreambox was able to fit all of my machines at the bottom. So as you can see, I ended up putting my Explorer 3 up here on the top because I use that machine the most. I kept my bullet journals over here on the corner because I wanted them to be easily accessible. Okay, so here I decided to do some black and white floral scrap paper. I do recommend that you use thicker scrap paper. This is all Hobby Lobby had, and it's kind of thin, but it worked. And I was able to cut this out with my Cricut. I also did the same thing on here, and I ended up using a nice 65-pound black paper. On this side, I tried to stick to the same color palettes. I'm going to get more transfer tape so it all can be transfer tape on the top. And then at the bottom, it'll be a mix of permanent vinyl and smart vinyl. But I kind of got it mixed up right now just so the colors could look nice. And then here I left my trimmers and all like those kind of tools for the, like, you know, compatible tools for the machines. The only thing I wish is that this had the option of being removed, because then I could just put my paper trimmers and stuff inside of this slot if it didn't have these sections here. In these little small Inview totes, I ended up doing mostly pens, pencils and stuff. And then in here, paint markers. So those are paint markers. I got these from Amazon. And then in here, the acrylograph markers from Archer and Olive, which I actually really love theirs. Notebooks. I have a book in here because I didn't really know where else to put it. But also I have like transfer paper for making t-shirts in there. Stickers and some coloring books and stuff in there. And then of course I kept my blanks here, like my customizable blanks in this section. It actually really works out for me pretty well because I'm able to like just grab it quickly. This side of the Inview totes, the small ones, I don't really have a whole bunch of stuff in them. Actually, I don't have anything in here, so I still have a lot of room for products, which is good that I'm not like spilling over the seams. And then I actually went and bought some extra ribbon because I wanted it to look a little bit more full. And I got kind of stick with the color palette I usually use, was like black or like a goldish, creamish color. So infusible ink pens. And then also infusible ink. So I try to keep stuff sectioned together. And then of course, here's my smart iron-on. And I mostly use gold smart iron-on and black. So that's why I have all that dedicated to those two colors. And that is about it. The Dreambox starts at $2,499 and you can add more items from there. So with my configuration, I did upgrade to the full Set Inview Totes, which was 80 count. 3 built-in drawers, the white shaker exterior, and then the crown light. I know this item can be considered a premium price point for some people, but they do have options where you can purchase on a payment plan. As I mentioned before, this video is sponsored by Create Room. So if you're looking into getting the best craft storage solution ever, click my link in the description box below. And you can also use my discount code to save some money. The discount code is Niky Foster 100 and it is for $100 off. So I'm really excited with the way my Dreambox turned out. I'm so excited about this. You guys have no idea. I was working in my dining room on the table and then like in that back corner, and everything was always everywhere. So I'm glad I have like a real space now that I can make my videos with, do my reels with. I have like a workspace now. So I'm so excited about that. That was one of the things that was keeping me from doing, I don't know, I guess a little bit more crafty style videos because I didn't really have a space to do it, you know, and now I do. So I'm so excited about this. Thank you again to Create Room for sponsoring this video. So one more thing with the Dreambox, if you guys are going to buy one, make sure you use that discount code I was telling you about. Also, I did create files so you can like cut these out with your Cricut easily. So it's already a file. So if you go to my website, DIYbyNikyFoster.com, that'll be the latest blog post on there, so you can download the SVG files for the Dreambox and, you know, customize it the way you want to. You can use any kind of paper. I use what I was able to get from Hobby Lobby and Michael's, and so far I'm loving it. I'm probably gonna switch it up like for the holidays or something. I'm not sure. I might do that, but if you guys are interested, make sure you are subscribed to my channel so that you can see any updates about the Dreambox and how I'm loving it. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna keep saying that because, you know, this like saved everything in the dining room. Oh, forgot to tell you guys. So I am doing the rest of my dining room makeover, so make sure you guys are subscribed because this is kind of like part 1 of that. I am going to finish doing like the sideboard and like styling the dining room. Obviously, you know, I painted it already, but you know, I'm going to go over some of those tips and tricks with you guys for the next couple of videos. So make sure you're subscribed if that's the type of content you want to see. Yeah, so that's it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at It's Nicole Foster, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Everybody.
everybody in the video. Give Mommy 1 billion and 1,000 subscribers. See you later, alligators.